I love our opening video. Thank you again to Tushka Productions who did that video for us. You're awesome guy. It's so great. Welcome everybody to another Friday episode here of John and Wendy Explain the World. I am one of your hosts. I'm the outlaw John Rocha, joined by my much better half over there with the awesome bunny ears. Wendy Lee, how are you?
I'm doing so good. I'm still recovering from Disneyland. My legs are super sore.
When did you go? Yesterday or Wednesday?
I
When
went
did you go?
on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it was just, I clocked like 21,000 steps.
Wow.
It's something I clocked in a very long time. Oh man, I bought something there. I was going to bring it in to show you.
Oh no.
But maybe I'll run out in a little bit.
Okay. All right. How was it though? How was it? Was it crowded? What was the attendance? What was the situation? I know you went to the Marvel situation this time around. What did you do this time around?
We kind of did the same thing, but we didn't go as early. So,
okay.
Quick sidebar is when I bought these tickets back in May, I forgot that I shouldn't book things to go on a Wednesday day because I didn't realize I'd be in the thick of it with Loki.
Oh, right.
So we watch at midnight, Dustin and I, and I didn't realize that I would be editing. And then, if we wanted to get there early, we'd be leaving kind of early because you need about an hour and a half to get situated, parked, and all that stuff in time to, get to Disney. So I was on like 20 minutes of sleep.
Ooh.
Because I stayed up. I didn't finish the video for Loki. Went up at like 4 and we were leaving at 4:30. So I was like, I guess I'll sleep for makeup on a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you sit there and you like edit in clips from the actual episode. I find that to be incredible. I watched your reaction. I watched Late to the Party. I watched Real Rejects just to get an idea of what the time commitment and the effort is on. It's amazing what you guys do because you can get dinged if it's longer than a certain amount of time. And you just pop up certain things and you pop out, pop up, pop out, pop up. It's incredible. So the amount of editing is just off the charts. And I'm sure the waiting for it to process, waiting for it to go through must be insane because so many people are trying to put up their reaction videos at the same time.
Absolutely. And there are times that I want to punch myself in the face. And I want to be like, why am I doing this? For what? Why? But then I watch back the video, the next day, and I'm like, no, I'm glad I put it up because it's genuine reaction. So I get really I try not to read I read the comments so I can engage, but I try to ignore the comments that are like, you guys pre-watch this so you can say this and that. I'm like, do you realize these episodes are 40 plus minutes long? Plus I have to sit through another 40 minutes as I go through the edit. So, and it takes longer than that. So I'm sitting at my desk 3-4 hours for an edit. You think I have time to rewatch Loki? I'm sorry. I don't have time. I'll rewatch it the next day. Yeah. Just so I can, reabsorb it again. But there's none of the reactors that I personally know. I don't think anybody's got time for this. We're all busy. No. Who does that? I'm gonna pre-watch a movie so I know what I'm talking about. No.
I could see for a trailer reaction. I could see people doing that, but for a
breakdown, sure. You should.
Right, breakdown, exactly. But for a freaking reaction video, the amount of time it takes, it's ridiculous. People are dinging you for that because it's not true. And who has the time? You're absolutely right, because it's overnight. You know what I'm saying? It's just mind blowing what people come up with in their heads to complain about. It's like, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Disneyland, it was like an off-peak busy day.
Oh,
so
okay.
None of the rides in Disneyland were over 65 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but I've seen it go up to 140 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It never got to that. Not for Smuggler's Run, which is the Millennium Falcon ride, not for Space Mountain. So we legit, I think, did 6 rides. I think we only skipped 2 of the bigger ones, and we were kind of okay not going on those, but we were able to get on the Rise of the Resistance. Yeah. And thank God, because that would have been just crappy if we got to go to Disneyland and didn't get to go on the Rise of Resistance.
Yeah.
That's a ride that you kind of want to cry a little bit as a Star Wars fan coming off of it. And God, it's so good. How is it so good?
I've been told yesterday, as I said, when I drove up to hang out with some friends. Oh, I was telling her Wendy off camera. I drove up to LA for the first time in a few days to hang out with some friends that I haven't seen. Some of my best, the Geek Buddies. We hadn't seen each other in over a year. Shannon and Mike and I and Kalinowski was there. Winston A. Marshall was there with his girlfriend Kristen, just randomly at the same screening at the same theater at the same time. So we were all there hanging out. There's like 15 to 20 of my crew, and it was great. As usual, yeah, right. Yeah, it was like a smaller version of it, yeah. But yeah, it was great to be out there, drive up, see Black Widow and what have you. But as I was sitting there having dinner before at the Pink Taco before we went to the movie theater, a couple of my friends are huge Disney people. They go a lot. They told me like you pay, I think it's like $209 because there's no longer the yearly pass. None of that is there. Right. Mm-hmm. So you take the chance that you'll get into Marvel or you'll get into Star Wars. But if you don't get into either, you don't get a refund. It's $209 just to have the chance to maybe get into one of these sections of the park. And if you don't, you're going to have to try again some other time. That is brutal, man.
That sucks for the families that come. Like we met a family that were there for like a 5-day trip and the parents looked a little tired. Like, how are you holding up? They're like, we're happy it's the last day, but the kids are having fun. I'm like, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like they got to take their time. They were just, so like the crowd, it was manageable. Disney did lift their like mask mandate. So like if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, but like they're not validating. Show me your vaccination card.
Right.
So I would say in my experience, I would say 80% unmasked, 20% masked.
Oh, okay. All right.
We stayed masked the whole time other than if we were sitting down eating or taking a sip of water. I didn't dare taking any of mine off. I'm surprised I don't even have like a little thing here, but I think that's always been there.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's always been there. So I see Wendy's mic seems a little low. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we were trying to figure. There we go. A little bit closer, maybe.
Better?
You might have to be closer. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's great to hear, Wendy. And, I love to hear your Disneyland exploits because I live vicariously through you and the people who go because I'm just like, I don't know. I would love to go and maybe someday I'll do a solo trip by myself and take a chance to get into all these things. It would be kind of fun maybe to do a little vlog for the day of my experience going there solo and what I got into and what I didn't get into. Could be a lot of fun, but we'll see. 209.
I will go with you. I'll make sure we get on the list.
All right.
Yeah, I will go with you.
We'll do it as a special John and Wendy Explain the World video. I like it.
But live stream from the park. There's enough phone signal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Oh, my gosh. Fun. All right. Done and done. But today on the show, we're going to jump into some Disney stuff as well. Speaking of Disney, Black Widow, we're going to later on in the show, Jenna Busch, noted film critic, pundit, and all-around awesome lady is going to be joining us to hang out and talk about Black Widow in the 4 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock p.m. hour. Right now, though, we're going to get into some trailers here with the What If stuff that dropped, the Encanto trailer that dropped as well. We're going to talk about a digital calico cat. We're going to talk about NSync and the Backstreet Boys and Boys to Men coming together for a Vegas concert. We're going to talk about so much. There's an OLED Nintendo Switch version now that's out there. As an owner of 2 OLED TVs, I absolutely approve this. And so much we're going to get into here that's going on in the world. And we appreciate you all joining us to listen to us talk about it all. And please remember, the Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. So send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. The address is right there above our heads in the middle. It's in the description of the chat, and I'm about to pin it. Oh, sorry, the description of the video, and I'm about to pin it in the chat as well. So send in your support as we go along. Wendy, where shall we start?
I mean, we got to talk about the hot trailers that dropped.
Yes.
On the internet. Without further ado, let's get into it. Marvel's What If trailer finally dropped. This is a show animated. It's actually Marvel's first animated series that is coming to Disney Plus in August. So I think just as we end with Loki, we'll get a little breather so all the reactors can try to write their sleep schedule, and then we dive right in.
So true.
All right, peace, sleep. And right into What If. So this series deals within the Marvel cinematic universe, but not as we know it. So we see things as Captain Carter, we see Star-Lord, but not Peter Quill, but T'Challa, Killmonger, and so much more. John, what was your thought when you first heard about it? Not even it, but when you first heard about this series.
Yeah. Well, I was so excited about it because I remember reading these What If comics in the 90s. It was right around the time when I started to put down comics for a little bit and focus on other things. And I loved it. I loved the idea of like, what would happen if someone else had become this person? What would happen if someone else had been involved in this situation and another hero had gone this route? What would their path have been? So it's always fun to consider all of that, right? It's like a choose your own adventure book. Oh, Captain Carter went this way. And in another timeline, it's Steve Rogers who goes this way. So I loved it. I enjoyed it. And then when I watched the trailer, I had the stupidest grin on my face. I put a trailer reaction up on the channel this morning. If people want to watch it, I'm just like, I'm 15 again or 16 again, just looking at this and having a great time. And the animation is gorgeous. The voiceover work is great. And I'm looking forward to see how this works out and how these storylines work. And I hope they've done a lot of work in making sure those little smaller parts of the story that are really essential for the overall acceptance of the story work so that we can enjoy, Haley Atwell voicing Captain Carter. I loved hearing her say that. Captain Carter. It was badass.
So good.
And hearing Chadwick Boseman again was fantastic as well. What did you think, Wendy?
I've been very excited for the series the whole time. My husband even more excited for it. So to see this trailer go down and all the, super fast flashes of images, I think I watched that probably 3-4 more times after we shot our review, just because I knew my eyes upon the first viewing didn't catch all of it. And I think even now, I'm sure I've missed stuff, but this is just incredible because we get to explore all the different, especially now we're playing with the timelines and the multiverse just to see what would happen. And I love the quote. I think it was maybe the ancient one. It sounded like it was saying it, like time, reality, it's all changeable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly what the series is. So I think as fans, as we think about what if Iron Man had survived this, if he snapped and he actually didn't die? What if Peggy Carter was Captain Britain and not Captain America? What if T'Challa was in Wakanda and he was off being Star-Lord and Killmonger are coming into that shot? That was one of the shockers because I don't think I saw any sort of like images or photos prior to the trailer. So when the hand reached down and pulled up and it was that, very recognizable Killmonger silhouette, I was like, wait, what is happening? Yeah. It's real good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be 10 episodes. It's coming out August 11th, probably about 26 minutes an episode. And like you said, it's going to be a little bit of like filler until we get into the next thing. And I wonder, Wendy, with this idea of opening up universes, the multiverse of madness, if some of this animated stuff becomes canon within the multiverse of madness and could be relied upon for some live action stuff down the road. I was wondering about that as I was watching the trailer and hoped that maybe they'd open the door to it, because I know Into the Spider-Verse is the reason we're getting 3 Spider-Mans. People loved Into the Spider-Verse so much that now we're getting live action situation where there are 3 separate Spider-Men in one movie, all our previous Spider-Man together. So yeah, I mean, this seems like there's a possibility here for this. What do you think?
Certainly there is. And I think for Marvel and Kevin Feige, by this point, I think we're about to jump into what, phase 4 is it, or phase 5?
Phase 4. Yeah.
I mean, they've got 24 movies under their belt now, plus with all the TV shows. They know what they're doing. So this could either, they can say this is, exists on its own, or they can say it's canon, but they can tie it all in. And honestly, it feels like it's giving us so many options and different things that we can play. We're not just confined to like the sandbox anymore. It's gone beyond that. We're in the ocean. You have to play, with the big fish. And it's just really great. I think for a lot of the fans and for someone like you who's, read the comics growing up, the what ifs, this is just amazing, because how many times do we sit down as fans and speculate? Yeah. But what if this though? But what if this? So this is perfect. I actually, prior to this series being announced, didn't even know there was the comic books.
What?
For what it is. I know. So it's because mom didn't let me read too many comics books growing up. So it's one of those like, sneak into the comic book shop and like read quickly, and like maybe I can get one before they're like, hey, you gotta buy that. You put it back and run out.
I wish I could. I wish I could.
Mom won't let me. Sorry.
But what do you think? Well, before we leave the trailer, what do you think about this news? And I know MK Sonberg put it on here, but yes, Variety did mention that in their report that Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Benicio del Toro, Brie Larson, and Benedict Cumberbatch and Seth Green, I think, are not coming back to voice the characters. Seth Green, I think, was the voice of Howard the Duck. So, yeah, Cumberbatch is not back as Doctor Strange. Brie Larson's not back as Captain Marvel. Del Toro is the Collector. Evans is Captain America. And RDJ is Iron Man / Tony Stark. So, does that take your enjoyment away from it? Because, I mean, you could tell from the opening strain that Tony Stark voice wasn't a bad Tony Stark imitation. So I was okay with that. What about you?
I think because it's animated, I'm honestly okay with it as long as it sounds close to what we have heard in the last 10 years.
Okay.
I'm honestly okay with it. It's not like, they're saying this is the new one moving forward. It is an animated, anthology what if series. So I am okay with, in that sense, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange and everybody sounding a little different, though I am kind of surprised because it is voiceover. So it doesn't require yes, you still have to go and spend the time, in a studio. And maybe they can record from home because Kelly Marie Tran recorded all of her Raya stuff from home. But maybe they were busy and it didn't work out. Or perhaps, for someone like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, they've done both of their roles for so long.
Right.
Perhaps they're just like, I think we're kind of done with it.
Yeah.
So but honestly, it didn't really bother me. I do love that Chadwick Boseman is the voice in the series. And that's nice because when I heard it, I didn't realize I was saying this out loud when I was recording. And I was like, is that Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah.
That's the last Black Panther thing, I think.
Yeah. Last T'Challa thing for sure. And it's a shame for that to be true, for sure. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Evans has kind of moved on. Downey Jr. said he was done with it, so maybe they just didn't feel the need to come back and voice this kind of stuff, or maybe the deals weren't there, and Marvel's like, we're not going to pay like this much money to get them to come back. I'm sure Brie now is an Oscar winner, and Captain Marvel can demand a pretty penny, as can Cumberbatch. So maybe they just felt it wasn't the right situation. So,
or maybe they're both busy doing their stuff.
Yeah, maybe
filming their actual movies. And they're like, sorry.
That's a good point. Yeah. Whereas Hemsworth, I mean, he just seems like he's always on. He's down to do anything, and in a good way. And I think it was great to hear his voice be a part of it. And there's a lot of people in the cast. It's going to be It's going to be great to see Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. To hear him as the Watcher, that narrating probably every episode. That's going to be fun on so many levels. Oh, and real quick correction. Seth Green did say he's going to be back as Howard the Duck. So I just looked that up because MK Somber said he tweeted it. So yeah, he is back. Even though Variety reported he won't be back, he is going to be back as Howard the Duck. So at least you'll get Seth Green. Nice. All right. So what's our next trailer we got to talk about here? Because that's coming out August 11th, ladies and gentlemen. So put that on your calendar. August 11th, 10 episodes of What If. What's the next thing we're talking about here, Wendy?
This next trailer is going to make you want to get up on your feet and dance. If you go into the theaters, you're going to be just shaking all the way through. We're talking about Encanto. This is coming from Walt Disney Animation or Animated Studios. It just looks so vibrant.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad mood, watch the trailer. It's going to heal your soul with the music and the colors. And I love this story because it was one of those, wait, so is the house magic or are the people magic that's making the house do this? But then our protagonist, Maribel, is not magical.
Right.
And that seems to be the main focus of the trailer for Encanto.
Yeah, it's sent. Lin-Manuel Miranda does a lot of the music for this and the songs, and it takes place in Colombia, which is South America. I'm my parents are South American from Bolivia, so I'm first generation American. This is great. It says it's the center. Colombia is at the center of a magical story about the extraordinary Madrigal family who live in the secluded mountains of Colombia in a magical house called Encanto. And the magic of Encanto has blessed every child and adult with special and unique gifts, from super strength to speaking with animals to healing, except for one, Mirabel. And certainly that's what you see in the trailer, the not so special gift. And then one of the younger friends or younger kids in the Madrigal family saying, maybe your special power is denial and all of that. So, but the
so like savage.
Yeah, well, Latinos can't be savage. I love the fact that it's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's fun. There's even a little bit of shades of a moment of Tangled when she's swinging down the rope the way she is. It felt very similar to Tangled, but you see the different types of members of the Madrigal family, and I'm excited. And the music is great. It was only a minute and a half, but it was enough to get me excited and to know I'm going to be probably a mess watching this, loving it. And I'm sure there's going to be an emotional moment. I mean, the fact you see right off the bat, the chanclas getting put on by the grandma is just so fantastic. And so I love that,
deflect as she throws
yeah, exactly. I just love that we're open the door to more Latino stuff. And it's very interesting. We say Lin-Manuel Miranda, Wendy, when you're watching this animation, there are a lot of darker skinned, fair skinned, lighter skinned throughout characters throughout this trailer. And that's a positive reflection overall. And it's one of the things that Lin-Manuel Miranda got dinged on a little bit for in The Heights. So it's good to see that this next Latino or Hispanic project that's coming out now is reflective and inclusive of multiple shades within the Latin community, and that's a positive, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I love with Disney films when we say like diversity matters and representation matters, it matters for especially target audience for Disney films, cartoons specifically, or animation, aimed for a younger audience. And that feeling as a child when you walk into a theater and you look up at the main character, that's their story, but they look like you.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's kind of similar to, I was really young when Mulan came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're telling this story, the story that I grew up with, and they get to do that in animation. I'm like, man, that's cool.
Right. Like we saw with Moana, right? For people of South Pacific or Polynesian upbringings, that whole area is highlighted really positively, uniquely, and also broadly, which I think is a positive, because the broadly allows everyone to connect to the universal story of trying to find your path or chasing your dreams and where you're going to go next. But the specificity within Moana was great for people of that culture to see their culture represented in that way. And this one feels like that as well. All of us, well, not all of us, maybe most of us feel at times like everyone else seems to be more talented, or everyone else has more going on, or how come I don't get those gifts? And it's like, well, you haven't found what the gifts that you actually do have. Start looking at those, and then you realize other people who you see having all these gifts, they have their own struggles, and think compared to you, their gift isn't as good as yours. And so it's just like I love that universal nature of the story told here in a South American setting, which is great.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I love the color and I love the music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was dancing right off the bat when I was doing my trailer reaction for this as well, which is pretty
I
was like, give it to me. We've got some Streamlabs that have come through here, Wendy. Let me read them real quick and get your response to them. First one is from Bleeding Green. Thank you, Bleeding Green. First thing, saw Black Widow and loved it. Second, do you think we will see any characters or references to any characters that we haven't seen in the MCU yet in the What If show? Oh, great question.
Ooh,
yeah. Do you think we'll get characters animated that we hadn't seen, Wendy? What do you think?
That we haven't seen? I would love to. Yeah. I would love to. Because I feel like there's so many characters in the Marvel universe, just in general. There's probably some that I haven't heard of. It would be my dream if they somehow put in the X-Men.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Too early. I think it's way too early.
Yeah.
But that would be the dream, to see either like Fantastic Four or to see, like Monica Rambeau in there. That would be cool. Miss Marvel. And I know that all those things are coming, so that doesn't really count. But
right.
X-Men and Fantastic Four it would be surprising if they did it. I'm not holding my breath. I don't think they're gonna do it. It's too early.
Yeah, but I mean, we got Zombie Avengers already in the trailer, so clearly some aspects of stuff we've seen in the comic books will be in this What If. Some characters might be in this as well, so we might see some newer characters, and they may be Marvel just kind of running it up the flagpole to see how people respond to this character being a part of What If, and see. You talk about the Watcher. That's a new character in terms of the MCU. So, so we'll be getting access to that. So I think there will be some interesting new characters that we haven't seen in the MCU, but that are from the comics that'll be fun to enjoy and watch in an animated format for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Chelsea N says, saw Black Widow last night and what a blast. Really hope it does well in theaters, but bummed we won't get to see more of Natasha Romanoff. Thanks for covering such diverse, fun topics and keep up the great work. Oh, thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Widow was fun. I can't wait to talk about it later. Me, you, and Jenna. I'm going to dive into it with no spoilers.
With no spoilers. Right. No spoilers. That's for sure. Don't worry about that, ladies and
gentlemen. Don't put that in the chat. Don't do it.
And keep sending in your Streamlabs. Thank you very much for those 2 donations. Keep sending in your Streamlabs and super chats here as we go along. We always appreciate hearing from you all and your kind words and your questions and your comments. We love it. Making the show interactive and making the show a fun way to kind of take your shoes off and have a drink after a long week of working or doing whatever you've been doing and hanging out with us. All right, Wendy, let's move on to this next story here. I put this in the rundown. Oscar-nominated Lady Bird and Little Women filmmaker Greta Gerwig has officially signed on to direct the Barbie movie at Warner Brothers Pictures. She had signed on to co-write the script with Noah Baumbach back in 2019. There might be an old movie talk where I said there's no way she's just going to write this thing. At some point, you got to let her direct it, I thought, or maybe someone else said it. Who knows? But either way, now she's doing it. This is official now. And of course, the film star is Margot Robbie and the producer of the film as well as Margot Robbie. She was talking to British Vogue this month about it and mentioned it, but then the trades now have officially confirmed it, which means the deal is done. She said, Margot Robbie did, that the Barbie film comes, quote, with a lot of baggage and a lot of nostalgic connections. But she also said with that comes a lot of exciting ways to attack it. People generally hear Barbie and think, oh, I know what that movie is going to be. And then they hear that Greta Gerwig is writing and directing it, and they're like, oh, well, maybe I don't. So what's your thoughts on this, Wendy? Did you want a Barbie movie? But now, and now that you hear Greta Gerwig is writing and directing with Noah Baumbach, are you excited or more curious? What's your feeling?
I think I'm leaning towards the more curious. I was already curious because I'm like, what are they going to do? Like that comment, like that quote said, what are they going to do with the Barbie movie? That Margot Robbie's attached to it. And she's not the type of actress that's just like, I'll take anything.
Mm-hmm.
And with someone, exactly. And with someone like Greta Gerwig directing, writing, being involved in the movie, now I am interested. Because what kind of story is she going to tell? Like, are we getting kind of a la Life Size with Tyra Banks kind of a situation there where, you know, Barbie comes to life and that's how we loop into Margot Robbie? Or is it something else completely? I don't know, but I imagine, first of all, the fashion in this is probably going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Has all the clothes.
Right.
Yeah. No, this is actually really, it's curious because I never expected like Greta Gerwig to like want to, I don't know, like what's the significance of Barbie to these ladies?
Yeah,
because she said the quote, and I think this was a Margot Robbie quote, but you know, comes with a lot of baggage, and a lot of nostalgic connection. I can see the nostalgic connection, but what's the baggage there?
Well, I think because now a lot of women. I can't say a lot of women, I guess, but there has been a movement in the from some women who are against Barbie, and that Barbie promotes an unrealistic expectation that you need to look like Barbie in order to succeed in the world, and blah blah blah. And so, which is a fair criticism. I think it's a valid criticism as we re-examine so many things that we've been used to seeing and used to having in our worlds. So I think that's the baggage that she means. So I mean, it's an interesting approach because Greta Gerwig comes from the independent, smaller film community with like Lady Bird and all her other films, Frances Ha, which she did with Noah Baumbach, and then you have Margot Robbie coming in from the bigger films. Yes, she was in I, Tonya, but she's Harley Quinn, for God's sakes. She's doing all these big things, and Wolf of Wall Street's what introduced her. So you've got a woman from one perspective and another one from another perspective. So I'm interested to see if they can make this thing work overall and tell a story that is still true to the origins of the character of Barbie or the beginnings of the toy, but also give a new life to it. So I'm curious, certainly.
Yeah,
if
very
nothing
curious.
else.
And also can't wait for the trailer because just like a couple of you guys are saying in the chat there,
Yeah.
Barbie Girl by Aqua should probably be in the trailer. I
Well, you
was
know what
actually
it'll be.
humming that song the other day and I don't know why. But all of a sudden I was thinking I was like at the grocery store and I'm like, I'm a Barbie girl. Why? Why am I singing this?
Those earworm songs are the worst. But you know how the trailer's going to be. It's going to be like, I'm a Barbie girl. It's going to be one version like that.
Dark, gritty version.
Yeah.
Kind of what they did to Britney Spears' Toxic for Promising Young Woman, which by the way, I love that
it was great.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
but also less
darker, grittier Barbie.
Yeah, but Wendy, also Black Widow. Remember, it smells like Teen Spirit. That slow version starts the movie. So, you know.
I better check my SoundCloud. People are probably uploading their own version of Barbie Girl already right now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm a Barbie girl. It'll be just like that.
I think we should all give you $10 if you make that right, the correct prediction.
It'll totally be that. It'll totally be that.
Happen.
Oh my God. There's no way it isn't. There's no way it isn't. So there's no plans on the release of this. There's no plans on anything at this point. So other than she signed on to write and direct with Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig is, and Margot Robbie starting. So I'm sure now they've got a director, now they can start setting up a production schedule when this is all going to go into motion, and then maybe we'll see a trailer in a few months or a year and have a reaction to it, talk about it. We'll see what their approach is and if that slow song is in there. All right, Wendy, please take us into the theme park portion of this news of the week section of the show.
Yes, theme parks. I love theme parks. And that's what I feel like I was robbed of in 2020. Theme parks. Halloween Horror Night didn't happen last year, but you know what? They're making it happen this year. So Universal Studios Orlando had already announced that the return of Halloween Horror Nights there. But just a day ago, Universal Studios Hollywood, where you and I have actually both worked, they have announced that HHN Halloween Horror Night is returning this year. They're going to be welcoming back guests. Get your throat ready for the screams and put your hands in your pockets as you go through the mazes so you don't accidentally hit this character because they are just people. They are people. Actors. Do not mess with them. So they've, as you know, theme parks have begun to reopen. So the announcement is that Halloween Horror Nights will be back and the event will start on September 3rd, which is pretty early in Orlando, September 9th. Here on the West Coast for Hollywood, and it's going to run select evenings only. It's not every day, all the way through October 31st. So it's ending a little bit earlier this year. Normally, from what I can remember, they've gone a little bit into November, just a little bit. Sometimes by like a day or two. But I want to say it's starting kind of early. I don't remember it starting at the beginning of September.
Yeah.
Because I have 3 patches, so I worked 3 of them.
You get a patch?
Yeah, let me go grab it and show you.
What? I never got a patch. All right.
Oh boy, you never got a patch.
I worked as a Walking Dead guy.
It doesn't matter. They should have
gotten a patch.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go.
I'm gonna reach out to Yelvington. All right. Uh-oh, you're all tangled up. Well, while she goes and gets those patches, Halloween Horror Nights. I worked there when I was at Harry Potter Land. I had a role pitched to me to play one of the people from The Walking Dead, one of the survivors or saviors, one of the saviors. That's it. And so as people were going into the Walking Dead maze, I would be standing on a platform and then telling them what to do. Don't you touch them damn things. And I had like a little bit of a mini beard and had all this stuff on my face as I was doing it. So it was a lot of fun to do that. And I had a blast doing it. And these people. These are the people you're in there. They're a unique slice of performers in the world of Universal Studios for sure. They love doing it, and sometimes they're as wacky or crazy as the characters they're playing, and it's fun being in a green room or a break room with them and hearing their conversations because they have such joy in bringing these characters to life and who they get to scare, and it's fun. Yes, and sometimes people do lose their minds because it's late at night. People drink, whatever, and get crazy. So, and I had a couple altercations with some people off that stand who were a little, because I mean, I was doing the character. I was standing there. Well, I told them because they were getting too, how can I say this? Getting too smart. So I jumped down off the podium, got in their faces, and I went to the manager there, and I was like, "Hey, am I allowed to do this? Like, you can do anything you want as long as you don't touch them." I'm like, "All right." So, because they'll cuss at you, they'll go crazy, but the overall experience is great. And Wendy, I've had my my lower parts turned to liquid in some of those mazes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've come out on my knees a couple of times out of those mazes. Yeah, because I'm a big old fraidy cat. So and I love giving myself over to being scared in these mazes because I want to get scared. Yeah, exactly.
That's the experience. People go in like you're trying to act tough. I'm like, but it's Halloween Horror Nights. Like, enjoy, let go. Nobody here is watching you be brave. I prefer when some people get so scared that they like fall. I've like scared a group of people to fall down, and it's domino effect, and it's hilarious. And they just kind of make sure, like, look over, like, okay, no one's bleeding, everybody's okay, they're all getting up, great, and you go back to your hiding spot.
Yeah.
And I do want to say they have a new maze this year. It's going to be based on Netflix's critically acclaimed series, The Haunting of Hill House. Ooh. I have a feeling, one, aesthetics will be like really, really on point for this maze, for this IP, and two, it's like a classic haunted house, and that's the best. That's usually the best kind of maze to go through. That's at least preferably to me.
I loved the Krampus maze when I did it a few years ago. The Krampus maze was badass, and the wait was forever, but it was worth it, man.
Didn't you work? Were you working when you went through?
Yes, I was working when I went through. So
didn't use your and be like, hey.
Well, I went with friends.
You could have
so I didn't want to go without them. So we stood in the line. Huh?
How many friends did you have with you?
I had like 5. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you kind of have to. It kind of looks jerkish
if you kind of swing around. Let you just like cut through gate A, which they don't do anymore.
Yes.
Here are the patches.
Okay.
So these are the 3 that I have. So at the end of Halloween Horror Nights, as a character, if you make it all the way through and you check out the final one, the jacket doesn't come with it. I bought the jacket. Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, that's awesome.
Alumni. This was Walking Dead.
Wow.
This was, I think all of mine were Walking Dead. No, the third one was when they had the Werewolf in London.
Oh yeah, American Werewolf in London. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the patches.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like, little badge of honor. So this is actually my Halloween Horror Nights hoodie from 2012. Again, I bought this myself with my own money.
Yeah.
And I just, so I still wear it proudly. People are like, where'd you get the patches? I'm like, oh, you gotta put in the work, man. You gotta be on your feet and work event for you to get these patches.
You gotta work. Step to the left. Work. Yeah. All right. And what's the Disney story here, Wendy? What do we got going on?
So because things are opening back up, and we're all very excited for Halloween Horror Nights, of course. And but if you're a little bit more squeamish and you get scared easily, or if it's too stressful, I get it. For some people, like I've seen people who go with friends, that one friend that didn't want to go, but somebody was like,
yeah,
I'll buy you a ticket. Now you feel guilty if you say no, and you got to go and enjoy. And they're just having a terrible time, but they're trying to be a good sport. So this is something that Disney is doing that's a little bit, more family friendly, all ages. And like, it always bothered me when I saw like a child, like a small child in the maze, where I'm like, I can't scare this kid. I'm going to go and give it a zombie high five. Which I'm very curious, by the way. I wonder how they're doing it this year. Like,
oh, I don't know. Maybe fist bumps, but they're supposed to practice social distancing.
That's going to be hard to do. I mean, you and I have been through those mazes. They're quite tight.
The lines are tighter than the maze. So yeah, that's what I'd be worried about, right?
Yeah.
Oof.
So I don't know. I mean, you can choose to wear a mask, obviously, but I think most people probably won't.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just so excited for the mazes to come back. Oh, I wanted to ask you before I move on to the Disneyland horror story. Did you ever go into the La Llorona maze?
Oh yes. Yes.
That's the one. I don't usually, unless it's clowns, nothing really scares me at Halloween Horror Nights.
Right.
That maze, if all the sound effects were turned off and if there were 0 characters in that maze, it would still freak the crap out of me.
Yes. Yes.
I couldn't do it. I remember walking halfway through. We're in like dead middle of the maze, like in the church kind of like area. And I said to my friend, I pulled on her hand and I'm like, I don't think I can do this. She's like, are you kidding me? We're in the middle. We can't turn around. Yeah. And I had to just like push through, but I was so freaked out by this maze. Somebody's like, let's go through it again. I'm like, I'll hold your stuff. I can't do it. It's so scary.
It is. I love it.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, I did it. And it was nuts and unsettling. And the American Horror Story one was crazy too. Whenever you do the horror story one, they go all full tilt on that one. So yeah, they're unsettling mazes. If I was
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was gonna say if I was willing to drive up and put myself through that, maybe I'd be willing to do it again. But it's a lot of people, so I don't know if I'd ever be willing to do that. But we'll see. But September, yeah, I think you're right though. We're starting early. So it's I guess maybe they're trying to recoup some of the money they've lost, while the park's been closed or whatever. So I imagine that's the reason. Yeah.
Yeah, they were the first theme park to close here on the West Coast. So
yeah.
But swinging over to the other park further down south in Anaheim, Disney is getting ready for their Halloween spectacular events. So both Disneyland Park and California Adventure is going to celebrate the season, and the dates are actually the same as Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, September 3rd through October 31st, and they're going to bring back their classic themed parties. Obviously 2020, none of this happened, so now they're excited. They're going to dust off the cobwebs, or I guess keep the cobwebs on to keep them themed. But they have the Haunted Mansion Holiday that's going to be in the park. So basically they're turning both of the parks into Halloween themed stuff. Over on the Disneyland side, they will have a Haunted Mansion Holiday. They're going to have the Main Street Pumpkin Festival and Halloween Screams.
Wow.
So that's like the like they do projection on the castle, and it's a nighttime firework that I saw once. It's actually my favorite fireworks show at Disney. It's really fantastic as long as they haven't changed it. For the Pumpkin Festival, it's a bunch of hand-carved pumpkin at Disney that you get to kind of explore and see. And then the Haunted Mansion Holiday, obviously, they changed the regular Haunted Mansion into the Nightmare Before Christmas theme. So you get to see that.
Yeah.
But the Oogie Boogie Fest is where you want to be. So they have... it's over at California Adventures, and they'll have different things like, and they're kind of, some of these are daytime rides too. So for example, if you are going like early September through Halloween, and if you happen to be able to get into Adventures Campus, 100% apps. If you're okay with drop rides, go on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It's called Monsters After Dark. I actually prefer it to the regular version of Mission Breakout Guardians of the Galaxy because it's like metal music, everything is dark, and you the ride just goes crazy, and it's the best.
That's cool.
I love it. Okay. Yeah, I love it so much. So the Oogie Boogie Bash, that is you get an entry into, this is California Adventures only, not at Disneyland. This is limited capacity, after hours access. So they'll have like a treat trail, which is like the candy trail.
Yeah.
So it's essentially trick-or-treating, but you just get to go up and I think you get a bag where they just dump a bunch of stuff into your bag for you. They're like, and they give you a lot. Because we went once, and I was like, I should have gone like back into my childhood and brought a pillowcase.
Yeah, to fill it.
It was so good. You'll get to see characters in costumes, nothing too super spooky, but they are going to have this like villains trail that's over at the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. Ooh. And it's going to show off a lot of different basically the villains playground, essentially. I haven't done it before, but I feel like the villains don't get enough of a spotlight during the day, so I'm excited for them to have this, and they'll have parades. It's going to be just a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
For the family.
I'm 1,000% down with that. That's great. That's great. So there you go. Some Disney updates and some Universal updates for Halloween for sure. All right, wait, let's running out of time for this section already. Let's jump into a couple more of these stories real quick. Marvel has revealed, Kevin Feige revealed that Marvel will the MCU actors aren't being locked into multi-picture deals moving forward. His exact quote, this is from a interview he did in THR, the Hollywood Reporter. He said that the contracts in the past with, Samuel Jackson was locked down, I think, for like 9 movies, Evans for 6 or 7, and RDJ got his nice chunk of change. He said those contracts got a lot of attention way back when with I think Scarlett and Chris Hemsworth and Evans and Sam Jackson. It varies now. It varies project to project, cast to cast. Really what we want are people that come in, are excited to be in the universe, are excited at the opportunity to do more things, as opposed to being locked into contractual obligations. So clearly this is, even Elizabeth Olsen said she'd only been contracted for 2 cameos and a supporting role in Age of Ultron before the WandaVision situation got her set up in a new contract. So do you like this, Wendy? Do you think this makes sense? And do you think because we're going into TV, and now he wants to add theme park stuff to this as well. He wants to add theme park attractions. So if you're signing up for this character, you're going to also voice it over for theme park stuff and voice it over for What If. And do you think maybe the What If situation, having RDJ step out, Evan step out, do you think that kind of made him change his mind a little bit about this kind of stuff? What do you think?
I think it's nice to offer, especially now, to offer these actors the choice.
Yeah.
Of like, and again, it's situational, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth between the Talents team and the Marvel team and the producers.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Where do you see the story going? Are we into 2-picture deal, 3-picture deal, plus all this and that? Because
right.
I've seen incidences where, not speaking to the Marvel properties, just other, franchises, where you can tell some of the actors are tapped out.
Yeah.
They don't really want to do it anymore, but contractually they have to. And at times, not throughout their entire performance, but at times it peeks through.
Yeah.
And you go, they're not having fun. They don't want to be here. Yes, they're getting paid the money, but they're also actors that you want to, we're creative people. So you want to explore other type of characters or tell other stories or try. I see actors now going behind the camera, directing, producing, writing. You look at John Krasinski over there with his Quiet Place series.
Yeah.
So I think this is nice, and it offers maybe the actors won't be so like would say a hard no right off the bat, because they're worried about being locked into a multi-picture deal, when they're like, well, I just want to explore and see how this first one go. Assuming they have fun, then they will be coming back to, I'll do the theme park stuff. And we'll do this. If you walk into Avengers Campus, Tom Holland 100% is in the pre-show for the Spider-Man ride.
Yeah. He
does it. Guardians of the Galaxy as well. The cast of the Guardians are in that ride. Rey from Star Wars, she's put the costume on to do a little pre-show here and there. So I think it's good now that it's not just like an automatically lock, because I wonder if that's given some other actors hesitation on entering the project.
Yeah, I think Joaquin Phoenix is the one who kind of quietly broke this open. The fact that he could go and do a one-off as a Joker and make $1 billion on that movie.
Oh my God.
Right? That opens the idea for other actors to be like, well, I'll happily come in. Like Richard E. Grant in Loki, right? He's coming in for a few episodes, and who knows if he'll be back or what they do with that character. And so you go, okay, I'll take it because it's only 3 episodes. I could go do my other things, and I'm not locked in to now being a part of this MCU for 4 movies down the road. It allows a little more variety. I think Feige did this at the beginning because you want to establish a foundation and consistency with the fans, right? You want to make sure the fans go, okay, I know who Hulk is now for the next few movies. I know who Thor is now. I know who Iron Man is. And now they're transitioning into this new phase. There's more cachet that they have because they were successful, that they can now bring people in for one-offs or for smaller roles in multiple films or stuff like that. So it's not as much of a time commitment, but you get the quality of actor that you're looking for. So I think it's a smart move on so many levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the actors.
Absolutely. All right. So a little more of a sad news, though. We're getting this news here that Marvel and WB, Wendy, are skipping the virtual Comic-Con this year, which is happening in September for some reason.
Yeah.
But doing maybe I'll go get my butt scared and then go watch a Comic-Con there. But yeah, this is coming from Deadline that Warner Brothers and DC Films are not attending this year's San Diego Comic-Con at home. And this is Marvel Studios, right? This is Marvel Studios and Warner Brothers DC Films. I want to make that clear. TV is going to have some presence from Warner Brothers at the Comic-Con at home situation, but Marvel and WB skipping out. And WB has been 3 years now that they've skipped out on doing things at Comic-Con. And Wendy, we've been hearing this for a while, that the appeal of Comic-Con to the studios is kind of dying and had its run. And you're seeing it now that they're setting up their own things. You know, Disney has their D23, and later on this year, Warner Brothers and DC are going to do their Fandom event again, like they did last year in October. So maybe they're sensing we can control the narrative of our stuff, and we can put our stuff and not have to worry about them handling our stuff. People will come to just watch our stuff for a day. So what do you think about this?
I feel like this was eventually going to happen.
Yeah.
WB was for like DC stuff. They were one of the first ones to, I think, not attend a Comic-Con in one of the years that you and I have gone.
Yeah,
and I think that may have maybe kickstarted the trend. And not to say that other studios weren't thinking about it. I'm sure this is talked about and comes up in conversation. Just because we don't hear it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Right.
But especially from the pandemic, and as like the very successful DC fandom have shown, studios can very much hold their own convention. And as you mentioned, D23, it's all encompassing all things Disney, Pixar, Disney animation, Marvel, Star Wars, theme park, all in one. It's like the ultimate Disney fan convention that you can go to, one-stop shop for all things Disney. So yeah, why not do that? And I will say, having sat through, I think it was the 2 DC fandoms, and having gone to D23, I love all of those. I actually did enjoy D23 a little bit more than Comic-Con. The aesthetic and everything, the crowd, I had a better time with it. It wasn't. I did miss Artist Alley. I will say that I did miss the craziness that is the convention.
Me too.
More, but also post-pandemic, we're still in it. The virus hasn't gone away, but like
true. Now
going back and being in a mass crowd like that, and we mean shoulder to shoulder, other people's sweat get on you.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal like that, I don't think I am ready for yet. So
yeah.
This was bound to happen.
Yeah, this feels like the new way forward, the specificity of it, right? You're coming to this event. We're the studio putting it on. We're going to pull out all the stops. You're going to get access to everything and everybody. But you can only come to this event for this day, and you'll get all of it. So to me, that makes so much more sense than Comic-Con, which can be haphazard at times. And yes, you'll create great memories. You'll have awesome experiences. You'll run into people that you never thought you're going to run into. You'll see stars walking the floor and what have you. But you might also miss out on some of the best panels, and you miss out on those events. You'll miss out on Hall H if you can't get in, which was ridiculous to get into over the last few years. So this is a way of kind of taking that loss away and giving it back to the fans and engendering goodwill with the fans. And I think it's a smart move, to be honest with you. And I don't know what's going to happen to these cons, because, a lot of these actors, they live off the money they make on these cons. So we'll see what that happens going forward.
Stuff. That's right.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing that you have to think of for a big Comic-Con convention like that. You know, it's just, I mean, we all love to talk about and attend Hall H. Like, that's definitely, if I, am able to go, like, that's definitely a favorite thing for me to do. But also, you don't think about, again, Artist Alley, the people that go, the talents that they do make that, their convention like roadmaps, and that is, some of their income. You have to think about that. And then on the flip side, for these studios, I think when they hold their own con, especially if they decide to go virtual, I don't think D23 is going to go virtual. I think they'll do it in person. But having seen from, like, for example, DC Fandom, you can have access to all the talents because you don't have to fly them anywhere. You don't have to worry about a hotel, a plane ticket, coordinate with their schedule to whatever project they're working on to pull them away from that project for 2 days to travel, do a bunch of interviews, do all this and that, and then hurry up and fly them back to set. Like, that's very efficient for the studios to do. So that totally, like, for like my organization mind, like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Plus the security aspect of it all as well is something to factor into that situation for sure. All right. And
because everybody's saying it's low.
Okay. All right. I'll drop this last story then real quick. And we've got our guest waiting to come in. So we'll definitely introduce her in just a second. But this is happening. As we know, Wendy was talking about how we can't think that the COVID situation pandemic is over. She's right. It's not over. In Tokyo, they announced that they are not going to have fans for the Olympics. I tweeted about this yesterday. And my tweet was literally this: why are you having the games anyway? People are dying from this COVID situation. It is spreading like crazy in Tokyo. So you're asking some of the top athletes in the world at the prime condition that you can create a body to be in, to fly into Tokyo, a hotbed of COVID and the Delta variant. Apparently the Delta variant, 30% of the people who are getting infected with COVID are getting infected by the variant there in Tokyo. You're asking to put these athletes in that position. It makes no sense to me. I don't know where you're making any of your money. This seems, I know that people work really, really hard to get to the Olympics, but to do it in an empty stadium, how much is that medal really going to be worth to you? And how much is representing your country really going to be? I don't know, Wendy. It seems to be a dangerous situation because also the Olympic Committee said you can't sue them if you get COVID. You cannot touch them, sue them, or anything because you willingly came into the country in this situation.
Yeah. I mean, you got to protect. Everybody's saying there's static noises probably because I have my AC going, but do I sound a little bit better? Okay.
You sound better. Yes. You're very loud now. You're good to go.
Oh, no. Wait, hold on. Hold on now. Is that better?
Yes. Much better.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Great. It's just a little bit too loud.
No worries.
But yeah, I feel like they should have waited until 2022.
Yeah.
That's just to me because it sounds like the citizens of Japan is not happy about this decision being made. Obviously, they're not the ones that are making the decision.
Right,
so
right.
What can you do? And you do have to worry about, it's not just the athletes, but they have to travel with some sort of a team, trainers and whatnot. And now, and I'm not saying they go to the Olympics to put on a show for the people. It's not a performance. It is, you're like showing off your athletic ability and all of that stuff. But also part of it is to have that spectate. It is a sport.
Yes.
So to spectate and to feel the energy of the crowd, I think is a part of that whole experience. And now they don't get to do that. And they train so hard, like, the best part of their lives where their body is at, it's like top peak performance shape. And I just worry about people being safe and like, are they allowed to leave the athletes village or whatever it's called to be able to explore Japan? Or
I don't know. And listen, and I don't want to say this out of turn, but people have known historically that the athletes village is where a lot of sex happens between these athletes. Like they give out condoms to these athletes in the boatload to show, because you're stuck in that village and people just kind of are energetic and hook up. And the last thing you want is people doing that with a COVID situation. One athlete gets brought in or one person gets brought in from the outside who may have it, and you spread it amongst the athletes. Who knows what can happen at that point? So, and they'll be gone from the games maybe by the time they realize they have it.
Right,
so that's
because there's the whole incubation or the asymptomatic stuff. And then like when they fly in, do they now have to account for like, okay, we're going to fly in, but you have to stay quarantined for 14 days.
Right.
So then you have to coordinate training schedule and like you can't share stuff with, instead of everybody being in like a common area, now you can't have that. So I honestly feel like it should have waited. But again, I don't know. I was talking to my husband about this and he's saying that for the most part, the Olympics, like it's not like Japan gets money from the Olympics to host the Olympics. Right.
They're getting
what
money.
It sounds like
they're getting money from the people who come to the games and spend the money and on the vending and the hotel and all this stuff. But now you can't even fly in from another country as a spectator. You can only fly in as an athlete or part of the teams, as you mentioned here, Wendy, but you can't come in as a spectator from another country. But now you're not even going to recoup any of that. MK Songbird in the comments, and ESPN article says they would, quote, lose $3 to $4 billion if the Olympics were canceled. Yes, but that's factoring in the people who are going. That's part of the $3 to $4 billion. So the people are not going anyway. So they're going to lose that money whether they have this event or not. So to me, I just don't see the logic. Like the Euro is something else because that's in Europe and they've pretty much got a handle on it. And there have been no cases coming out of those teams or out of those fans at all. And there have been maskless games, but they handle it. Japan seems, or Tokyo at least specifically, seems to be having a really hard time handling this situation. And so, so we shall see, Wendy, for sure. We shall see what happens. And they're happening in about a month. So, all right. Yes, let's hit our one last super chat and Streamlab, and then we'll bring in our guest. Real quick, Justin Toner says, hi, John and Wendy. I picked up the movie Bringing Up Baby from Criterion Collection last night. Great choice. So I'm glad it came out during the 50% off sale. Agreed. I hope to see Black Widow in the theaters. Fingers crossed. Wendy, have you been enjoying Exandria Unlimited?
Okay, I have not started watching because we're still, so this is Critical Role's new RPG, TRPG game. We talked about this previously. We're still in campaign 2, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody who haven't, but we just started episode 134, so we're almost there, and as soon as we're done, we're going to jump into EXU, which I've heard a lot of my friends are watching it. Like, she is doing the new DM. She's doing an amazing job, and the characters are being amazing. I've muted all the keywords on my Twitter so I don't get things spoiled for me.
Smart. There you go, Justin. And King Sport Cal, he sent in a super chat here. Let me see. Where is? Oh, yeah. He says, Rocha, sorry to interrupt. The Rocha documentary was a thing of legend for me. You will always be the man who made the Schmodown. Horseman! It's a hashtag Black Lana. There it is. Thank you, Calvin. I appreciate that. Calvin, one of my fans and followers and patrons as well in the Outlaw Nation. Thank you, brother. Yeah, they made the documentary they did on the Outlaw. That's the character I play in the Schmodown, available for everybody for the first time yesterday. So I'm getting, or 2 days ago maybe, and I'm getting some nice comments from people who watched it, which I appreciate, especially as I glimpse the end possibly. So let's not say that, but anyway, yeah. And hashtag Black Lana representing. I appreciate it. All right, Chelsea N, last one, says, as someone who lived in Japan for a number of years and with many friends still in Japan, I'm so frustrated with how the Japanese government has handled the Olympics/pandemic, but the blame needs to be spread to the IOC as well. They both refuse to cancel. Fair point. All right, any final words on that, Wendy?
Wash your hands, wear your masks, and don't touch your face.
There you go. All right.
My standby. Don't touch your face.
All right. Let's get it going. Wendy, please do the honors of introducing our guest. We're so excited to have her on the show to talk and review Black Widow with us and offer her recommendations and suggestions for the week. Who do we got?
Absolutely. We've got one of my favorite people in the world. This is Jenna Bush, host, writer, producer, all around amazing human. And I missed going to brunch with her a lot. That's what we used to do. She knows all the cool spots in LA. So please give a warm welcome to my friend Jenna Bush.
Yo, what's up, Jenna?
Guys.
How are you? How are things? How are you?
It's nice to see you. I miss going to brunch too.
We went to this one place. I think it was in WeHo or NoHo. One of the hoes.
Okay.
We were in a hoe.
We're in the hoe, and it was just like the best French toast I ever had. I was like, man, this is delicious.
Oh, now you're talking.
I know. Oh my God.
Jenna, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. I am running and writing for Vital Thrills and writing a book on running. So it is consuming my entire life.
Yes,
look at all the medals behind you.
I know, look at that. I've been following you on your Instagram, obviously on your social media post about, this journey that you've been on for the last few years with this, as you've, kind of approached how you're eating, what you're eating, and how you're working out. It's been fascinating. Did you write a book about the nutrition aspect of it all, or was that something you were considering and now you've moved on to the running aspect of it all?
Oh, no. I had a whole big thing where I did Whole30 for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah. So now it's just the running and I'm writing the book now, but I am training for my 3rd marathon. Woo! Will be my first one in person with other people.
Oh my God.
Wait. How do you run a virtual marathon? Have people been doing that?
Yeah. All those medals, they're all virtual. I've only done one in person. Everything else has been virtual. So I did the Edinburgh Marathon and the Green Bay Marathon by running in circles around my park for a very long time.
That's incredible. Holy crap, I had no idea.
Yes, I'm doing San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon in October. So if anyone else is going, say hi.
Nice. That's always a fun
what I
time.
thought about virtual marathons is I thought that you would have to run on a treadmill in front of your iPhone and make sure you're running or something.
Oh yeah, I started on a treadmill. It is boring. Now I carry a fanny pack full of peanuts like a giant dork to feed the squirrels. Wendy is not surprised at all.
No. It's facts.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been doing over the pandemic to kind of stay plugged into the entertainment world, commenting on it, talking about it? Like, you're here to hang out with us, talk about Black Widow as well as other things. Like, what's been the process for you over the last year and a half as this all has been going on?
It's been very weird. So everything's been virtual. So there have been a zillion press conferences. The Black Widow press conference was virtual. Everything's been virtual. I actually talked to a publicist who thinks some of these might stay virtual. Yeah. Because like you guys were saying, in terms of cons, they don't need to fly people anywhere. They can grab people off set, put them in front of a camera, and then send them back when they're done. So it also does mean that I don't have to get up as early to drive places, but I do miss seeing people in person. But, I've mostly been writing for Vital Thrills, a couple other freelance things here and there, and then mostly working on my book. But mostly I've just been running like a crazy person. I don't know who I've become. I used to sit on the couch. It was nice. I don't know why.
She's running for the both of us, Rocha.
That's what I'm doing.
We're not running.
I'm running 10 miles tomorrow as part of the training, so I will dedicate at least 5 to each of you. I might go longer. I'm not sure.
She has sent the other, the stuff that she sent it all to me. So I'm accruing what Jenna is letting go. I'm accruing it all as I sit here for the last year for sure.
Look at your step counter. It's going to go up.
I hope so. I've got a rowing machine that's got dust on it right now. I got to get on that thing. But we're here to talk about, we got you on the show to talk about Black Widow. I saw it for a third time last night.
Wow.
Talk to all of us and our listeners and our watchers here. What's your reaction? What you're feeling about it? What's your overall thoughts on the film, non-spoiler wise, for this Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson? And
I loved it, but I was angry the whole time I watched it.
Ooh, okay.
So it's because of when it came out. This should have come out earlier. There is no question about that. Yeah. It absolutely was fantastic. Like, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I love Florence so much.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh, who plays Yelena. I've watched her in everything. I watched her for the first time in a movie called Macbeth on a plane coming home from, I think it was the Suicide Squad set visit. I'm not sure, but some set visit. And it was so good. Yeah. And I'm like obsessed with her work. So I absolutely loved her. I loved everyone in it. I've been heartbroken about Scarlett not Scarlett. She's fine. But Black Widow and so it was really nice to be able to see her again. But I feel like this would have had so much more impact if it happened earlier. And she deserved it. I mean, Scarlett Johansson has been doing such an amazing job with this character, going from the beginning. And I know she's commented on this, but going from the beginning when she was very like sexualized to kicking all the ass, all of it. And she deserved more. But that said, my anger's a little better now, but I loved it. And I love the interplay between them. This is not a spoiler. This has nothing to do with plot, but there's a really cute scene where Yelena and Natasha are talking about clothing and coming out of the training and learning that you can make decisions for yourself. Yeah. And it was the cutest conversation I have ever seen. Plus the action is so kick-ass. And guys, there are so many women in this movie. Yeah. So many women. And can I just say, this is a little off the subject, but when I started talking about women in movies and how much, I wanted to see more of them. 1, I'm super psyched that we are. And 2, that used to get me kicked off of stuff. People were like, we can't have her on. She's going to talk about women in film. So things have changed. I was told that by several producers. We can't have you on because it's too political. Yeah. So I'm just saying, movies full of women, and it's awesome.
I think it's great that you're saying that. I had the same situation happen. Oh, he's just going to bring up race again, and we can't have him on the show. Or we have to take him off this news item because we're going to get negative reviews or negative comments or too many dislikes. I had that experience, so I know what you're talking about. It's so funny. Post Me Too, post Black Lives Matter. It's amazing to see how many people have suddenly, all of a sudden, seen the light. All of a sudden, understand what. But I will say this, and I want to get both of your thoughts on it because I know Wendy, you spoke about how much you enjoyed it earlier on the show. Do you think, in some weird way, this was the right time for it to come out? Because would you have trusted that they would have done as great of a Black Widow movie that focused on her as a woman, not as a sexual object, like in the past, in the first few years of the MCU? Do you think now, post Me Too, with a female, first of all, do you think they would have gotten a female director back then? Kate Shortland stepping in, and as much as it sucks that it's 10, because when the movie's done, the worst thing you want to do is, where's the next installment with Scarlett? That's what you want. But then again, maybe this was the right time because people understood how to approach this material a little more intelligently and a little more sensitively to the female point of view.
I don't know. I mean, I think for me, it bothers me that they weren't doing that before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they could have.
Yes.
But I also think, like, maybe, Kate Shortland's amazing, but I wonder, maybe they wouldn't have gotten a female director, but I feel like they would have handled it. They would have had a lot of women in it because, I mean, considering they're talking about the Red Room, they're talking about Black Widows, they kind of have to. It's baked into the story, which is probably why they didn't do it. But, in a way, I feel like some certain Captain America movies were actually Black Widow movies. This guy's.
Yeah.
I may have tweeted that at the time, but I do think maybe if they had brought this out and they'd done it this way earlier, maybe it would have sparked some things. Maybe we'd have more movies like this. And I mean, I want to get to the point where we're not talking about a female superhero movie. Like, it would be cool, or a Black superhero movie, or an Asian superhero movie. Like, it would just be cool if we could get to the point where we're not splitting that up. It's something that happens when I talk about panels a lot, because I do a lot of panels at conventions. And one of the things you get when you're looking for guests is, I don't want to be on a women's writing panel. I want to be on a writing panel, or, I don't want to be on an actors of color panel. I want to be on an actor panel. And that makes sense. But for a little while, we kind of had to do it that way. Otherwise, they just weren't doing it. So I'd like to get to that point. But so maybe, look, it is what it is. It came out when it came out. And all of that said, all of my anger aside, I loved everything about it. Like, I loved the family dynamic. David Harbour makes me laugh. And now I have new lines right here from him. I blame him trying to get into his suit, which I know you've seen in the trailer, so that is not a spoiler.
So good.
Yeah.
Why the aggression? Why so clinical? Wendy, what are your thoughts on all of this? What are your thoughts on my question as well, please?
I agree with Jenna. I agree that I am a little disappointed that we didn't get to see it earlier, prior to, especially, her arc in Infinity War. I feel like this movie would have had so much more impact had it come out directly after Civil War. I think that would have been great, because as you saw in this movie, it kind of, that's where the timeline occurs. I'll just say that much, so it doesn't, just in case people are like, I didn't know about that. I think it's pretty clear, at least shown, like, where the timeline is, but just in case.
You can tell by her hair.
Yes, the hair color.
Yeah.
Somebody commented, they're like, "Oh, Wendy, do you remember you said this about her hair?" I was like, "Yeah, I didn't like this one specific hairstyle. Not in this movie. Her hair is fine in this movie." Besides the point. But yeah, I think had it come out a little earlier, maybe we wouldn't have had a female director. But again, I feel like with Marvel Studios, they do put a lot of thought into producing their movies and the right director, the right cast. So I wouldn't completely toss that aside and saying like, no, we wouldn't have gotten, a female director or female writers or, and whatnot, because this is so female centric and a lot of female empowerment that went into this movie that I loved it so much. I do wonder, though, now that you posed that question, I'm like, I wonder how would have been received. And I would like to, like Jenna said, in the future, hopefully it's not just female superhero, Asian superhero. Let's just get a superhero movie and that's what they are. Yeah. And we need to maybe not stop categorizing it and just let it's just normal because these characters have already existed in comics. It's not a new thing.
Yeah, and Tessa Thompson said that right a few months ago. She said, Kevin Feige has told me very clearly this new phase, the new approach to Marvel will be more universal, more diverse, and more women and men involved in these situations, and more women certainly getting some central roles in the overall universe as it goes forward. And that's a positive. And that's a positive, seeing diversity, seeing women more involved in these situations. And we're seeing the box office that proves that that's the right move. You know, the Black Panther box office, the Captain Marvel box office, whatever your feeling is about the Captain Marvel movie, that thing made a lot of money. The Wonder Woman box office, and already the reports are coming out that Black Widow had a very strong opening last night. So this is all positive. This is all positive to push the narrative forward that the old days are done. Let's start focusing on the new days and ignore the minority of people who are complaining about woke and all that nonsense, and start pushing forward.
Or just look at it financially. I have dollars. I will give you said dollars if you make the thing I like.
There you go. There you go. Seems
we can be like
similar to
John, see it 3 times. Like money, 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 money.
Yes, I'm ready to see it again. I'm very excited to see it again.
Yeah.
I watched it on my computer. I want to see it on a big screen now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good on the big screen. It's so good.
is.
That first act was my favorite.
The fight, we're not giving it
so
the fight
good.
in the air, which you see from the trailers, is longer in the movie.
So good.
Last night at the Sunset 5, I'm sitting there and my mouth is just wide open at the beauty.
Oh, that's a good theater.
Yeah, it was. So it was a lot of fun to see it there. All right, any other thoughts on the movie overall? Yeah, I agree. David Harbour steals it like a mofo in certain scenes for sure. But Florence Pugh is I mean,
she's fantastic.
So good.
Right?
You guys, you have to go see Macbeth. Seriously, like watch it. Don't go. There's no theater showing it. Don't do that. Just show up, start pounding on the door. Like, I'd like to see Macbeth. Play it. No, but it's really good. It's very arty, but she's just so phenomenal. But I really think going forward, she'll be an excellent addition to the MCU. And guys, I will say nothing other than this. Of course, there is an after credit scene.
Yes.
Was it mid or after? I can't remember. Just
no, it's after.
After.
Oh, is it after?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You get the little Georgia Pacific peach, and then it happens.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. And just to correct Jenna a little bit, it's Lady Macbeth, not Macbeth. Lady Macbeth is the film she's referencing, and that's a great film. I also saw it. It is a heck of a character piece. So you people need to watch it. And she was like 21 or 22 when she made it.
Young.
Let that sink in.
There's literally nothing that she's done that I haven't enjoyed. Everything that I've seen her in, Midsommar, Fighting with My Family, Black Widow, Little Women. Now I got to check out Lady Macbeth.
Oh, Little Women. Oh my God.
She's
so
excellent as Amy.
So good.
Excellent. Yeah.
Also, the Little Drummer Girl, that series she did on AMC, she's stellar in that as well. So you got to see that. So
yeah.
Okay. Any final words on this before we move on to what Jenna recommends for our fans and listeners to watch this week?
Other than Lady Macbeth, which I got the name wrong for, so you know.
That's
I will say this: I have a slightly different opinion about Red Skull, not Red Skull, Red Guardian.
Red Skull.
My mind. Look, I was talking about Crosshair last night in my review of the Bad Batch, and instead of Crossbone, because somehow all of a sudden my head went to Marvel.
You guys, we still have quarantine brain.
Yeah.
100%.
Blame that. We're going to blame that for the next year at least.
100%. So I love the Red Guardian. I love David Harbour, and you can tell he just had the time of his life playing this role. But I felt for specifically the second act, I felt like some of his scenes went on a little bit longer than I expected. And I felt that it pulled attention away from Yelena and Natasha. And that's just me personally, where I felt like, we're spending a lot of time with him. But then the payoff for me wasn't quite there by the time we got to the end of the movie. There was a little bit. So I was just like, I don't know. That was just probably unpopular opinion, but I said that in my review. So I figured I'll say it here too. Yeah. And it's not to say like it was distracting or was bad and whatever. I just felt that I would have wanted more time with the girls, with Natasha specifically.
Frankly, I would have watched a series. I absolutely would have watched a series. And you know, I totally get what you're saying about that. Part of me thinks that we stayed on them on the family just because there's so much family here, and you can see that like Natasha's through line through all of this is her family, whether it's her real family or the adopted families that she's made. And I think seeing the family that she came from was very, very interesting. Just seeing all the people that she was surrounded with early in her life, where we didn't get a chance to see that before. I think that was pretty cool.
And it's so interesting too, because it's 3 generations of women to a degree, right? I mean, Rachel Weisz is Scarlett Johansson in 1999 from Mummy Returns, right? Yeah. And now it's Florence Pugh, who's Scarlett Johansson 10, 12 years ago. So to see all 3 of them in this movie, I was like, this is awesome. This is just awesome seeing these 3 talented women just having so much fun. The natural and 3 different styles of acting. Right? Like Florence is so natural that you think she's improvising every scene she's in. Yeah. And Scarlett is so determined that there's that's an anchor to the scene every time. Yeah. And Rachel Weisz is so effortless as she flows between everything she's doing. You're just like, this is a master at work.
Yeah, she was sitting in that character, like
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
she's an Oscar winner. So, I mean, she's got the validation to prove it, ladies and gentlemen.
And the espionage aspect of it, too, was really nice to see, like, kind of tied in using that, but with an MCU style. I loved it. Because you guys know me, and I love my espionage films. Like, give me Mission Impossible all day, every day, because I love those films. So I love seeing, aspects of Mission Impossible type of, like, espionage-y stuff in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Also, Ray Winstone is a close actor. I had noticed that last night. I was a little uncomfortable for some of the other actors on screen. I was like, hey, give him a little more space. Give him a little more space.
I gotta say, I used to be an actor 1,000 years ago. Yeah. And I have acted with a close talker. Oh, it's not good.
It's not good.
It's very uncomfortable. Like my eyes are crossing. Oh, you're blurry. You're too close.
Yeah. And old men, they got bad breath. So it's just like getting that close is not the good thing. It's a thing. It really is. All right, Jenna. Well, Black Widow is out now for you all to go see in the theaters, for those of you who have theaters that are open around you, but also it is available on Disney Plus through the Premier Access aspect of it also. And I think all 3 of us recommend it, and certainly take Wendy's criticisms into your analysis of the film and whether you're going to spend the money or not. But I think all of us recommend it. But you've got some things you can experience and explore when you see the movie. Jenna, what else do you got to recommend to people this week? We do recommendations or what's coming up on the show here. Do you have something prepared for us?
I do. I'm very excited about this. Okay, so I had written stories about the TBS show Miracle Workers. I had never seen it. Oh. And I found out I was going to be interviewing the cast, which includes Daniel Radcliffe and Steve Buscemi. So I was very excited. So I sat down and binged the whole thing. So if you guys don't know about it, it's an anthology show. The first season takes place in heaven. The sex season. No. Well, that's not a season so far. The second season takes place in the Dark Ages. And I know there's drama around that name, but whatever. And this upcoming season, which starts on the 13th, is the Oregon Trail. So
wow,
it is so weird and so funny. And you can watch it on TBS. You can also watch it on HBO Max. I'm not sure when the new season comes out on HBO Max, but it's Warner Brothers stuff.
Okay.
But it's really, really funny and really weird, and I love it. And everyone absolutely makes fun of themselves. I can't say anything about the first episode of season 3 other than I saw it and my face still hurts from laughing because of a particular scene that involves what is referred to as a gentleman's napkin. And that is all I'm going to say.
Oh my.
But you have to watch it.
What's the premise of it? What is Buscemi God or?
In the first season, he's God.
Okay.
And Daniel Radcliffe is an angel. And in the second season, he is, can we curse on this?
Yeah, of course.
All right. His last name is Shit Shoveler. So, and names describe what you do in the Dark Ages. And this time he's an outlaw called Benny the Teen because he hasn't been able to let go of his glory days. So it is weird. Daniel Radcliffe in the second season plays a spoiled prince who really loves ducks. And it feels like it's improv from talking to the actors though. And just so you know, my interviews are up on vitalfrills.com. That actually just went up today. But It's really good, you guys. You gotta watch it. It is. You'll be tilting your head like a dog hearing a weird noise a lot, but you will thank me for it. Seriously,
I love it.
I love
it
those
already.
shows. I felt that way about Breeders. Oh my God.
Yeah. See, my head tilted as soon as you said that.
Yeah, see? Yeah. What do you got, Wendy? What do you got to recommend for the fans and the listeners?
This is coming soon to Netflix, and it's I believe I want to say it's season 2 of the movies that made us. The same team that did the toys that made us, and they did like a Christmas one as well for Christmas movies. So they're back, and I want to say this drops July 23rd, so it's a little bit further down. I was gonna save it, but I'm so excited about this show. They usually do just a 4 short or episode series, but this time they're focusing on, get ready for the movies that they're talking about in this one: Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Pretty Woman, and Forrest Gump.
Oh,
yes. And this series basically kind of a deep dive into the movies and things that you don't normally hear about. You maybe have heard about any sort of, big roadblocks that they had in making this movie, certain movies that almost don't get made, or things with actors, and they interview, the director or the writers or the producers, and just things you never know. Like, I don't even know what they're going to tell us about Back to the Future and Jurassic Park, but I am sold.
Nice. I've got a couple of things. I just started Lupin. So we finished season 1, or as I say, Lupin. We finished season 1 of Lupin, and we're going to jump into season 2. It's a good show. And for those of you who may be worried about, I got to read titles, get over that. It's fantastic acting. I've been a fan of Ludwig Sagnier, who plays his ex-wife in the film, or in the show rather, for quite some time. So to see her coming back in a show like this with Omar Sy, who is so great as an actor, it's fantastic. And there's some really interesting things that happens. Of course, it's based on a real character from literature, and how they play that out in the show. So I'm about to start season 2. So it's on Netflix. Watch this thing. Season 2 just dropped, I think, a week or 2 ago. And the other one is I've been very lucky to get early access to Making the Cut season 2 with Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum. This is an awesome show, ladies and gentlemen. And it's under the pandemic, so they are all in one place. All the designers, Tim Gunn and Heidi, all in one. So that adds an extra amount of pressure to what they're going through. We've already gotten through 4 episodes of season 2, me and my girlfriend, and we're just massive fans of the first season. So season 2 is even better, and you can tell they've upped the production budget with what they're doing. So I recommend that for you all. It comes out, I think, Friday. And what Jenna was talking about, Miracle Workers, comes out July 13th, the first episode. So put that on your calendar as well.
Rocha, can I just say, I am always surprised when you recommend something that's so outside of what I think you would watch, like Making the Cut. It's not a show that I'm like,
that too.
like, Rocha watches when I was like, and I thought maybe it's a different show with the same title, but then you said Heidi Klum. I'm like, he is talking about that show.
Kidding? I have an inner gay man, and I love him. And I'm proud of it. I got no shame. And I love Tim Gunn. He's the best. All right. Well, Jenna, thank you so much for joining us. We don't want to take too much of your time. We know you're going away tomorrow for quite some time, so go and enjoy your night. Thank you for stopping by with us. Any final words? Anything else you want to throw out there for people who are watching or listening?
Yes, we are on a small hiatus right now, but I am co-hosting a podcast with Anastasia Washington called Hysterical. It is Histerical, and it is a very fun and silly take on history. So we'd love you to check that out anywhere you get your podcasts.
And Vital Thrills to read all the stuff you're writing. Is that correct?
Yes, vitalthrills.com. And my review of Black Widow is up on Vital Thrills as well as Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Well, Jenna, thank you so much for stopping by. We love you. Enjoy your time off.
I love you guys too. Mwah, brunch soon.
Yes. When you're home.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Thanks, Jenna.
She's awesome. There was Jenna Bush, who just stopping in and hanging out with us. One of the best people, one of the brightest faces you're ever going to encounter in the world, and such a sweetheart as well. So we appreciate her taking the time to hang out with us.
Positive attitude is so contagious.
Yeah, really is. She's the
so
female
great.
Ted Lasso. She's the female Ted Lasso. Can we say that? Believe.
She's amazing. Love it. Go follow Jenna everywhere.
Absolutely. At Jenna Bush, Bush. Go follow her everywhere. She's a great follow. And maybe she'll inspire you to start running.
Different spelling than the president's daughter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And more talented, in my opinion. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's finish out doing some trending because we had to jump into this interview here.
Let's do it.
Okay, so
we're
Nintendo
hang out for
Switch.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, we're hang out for a few more minutes and get through this stuff. Nintendo Switch OLED, Wendy, what is this all about? I don't have a Nintendo Switch. You talk to me about this.
Oh my gosh, Rocha. Well, I mean, I guess you don't really need it when you have a PS5 over there. Super. That's not me being jealous, but I know for a long time people were talking about a Nintendo Switch Pro. That is. Yeah. Not happening. This is what we're getting instead. So this is the Nintendo Switch OLED, and it's a small upgrade. The screen is bigger. Obviously, it's an OLED screen. Yeah. Everything else pretty much mirrors the base model that we have right now. The what is it called? Like there's like a little kickstand that comes out.
Oh yeah.
So you can tilt your screen, so it gives you multi angles on it instead of the one we have now, which is like a tiny little thing. It's a little bit wobbly.
Yeah.
So better screen, a little bit, but there's no more like space, no more RAM, no more power than the original one. It's just a little bit bigger of a screen, brighter. And at 350, I would say if you don't currently have a Switch and you're looking to get one, this is the one to get. You're going to have a better experience playing and looking at the screen. It's going to look brighter, better. You have the option of picking like the one with the white Joy-Con controls, or you can get the classic. I think the blue and red is still available if you want. So yeah, that's what people are that's next, I guess. And this comes out, I'm trying to find when it comes out. I don't think it says anywhere. Let's see. Does not say. Okay. But probably soon. Yeah. I would imagine. So yeah, for anybody who was looking for Nintendo Switch Pro, which has always been a rumor, was never ever confirmed by Nintendo, but this is the upgrade that we are getting. Oh, yeah. And on the back, you can now have like a LAN port.
Oh,
so you can hardwire in. Before we didn't have that, so now you can hardwire in if you want to.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's good.
Slight upgrade.
And let me tell you something. As someone who owns 2 OLED TVs, there's no better way to watch anything. The blacks are rich. The black colors are rich on the screen, which makes everything else even more vibrant. So can't recommend it enough. So that if you've been hesitating, as Wendy said, this is the time to get this thing. And it's $350, as you said. And the pre-orders are live now. So people are pre-ordering now if you want to get one. So jump on it now. But they haven't said, I agree with you. I'm looking through these. They haven't said when it's going to be released. So you'll just pre-order and then hopefully it'll show up one day and you've got a great time to play that game.
I mean, low-key, I kind of want one because the rest of my consoles are black and white. So like if this sat next to my Xbox and my old PS3, like it'll look really cute but right now I have the one that's got Eevee and Pikachu on it.
Oh,
it's actually here.
Oh no, you can bring it. Oh, nice.
Let me see.
Oh wow!
My Let's Go Eevee Pikachu edition. I pre-ordered this when it first came out.
I love it. Yeah. Well, Wendy, I'm going to share something with you. Tell me what the hell is going on here. People are obsessed with this calico cat. Let's take a look at this. What is this all about? What is this thing? What is it doing?
It's all over my TikTok. It's all over my Twitter. I don't know why, but this digital cat, as you can see, it's up on a 26 by 62 foot LED billboard in Tokyo. And it's just a cat hanging out. And instead of saying konnichiwa, which means like hello, it says nyang nichiwa. Like nyang means like meow in Japanese for meow.
Right.
So that's what it says. And it shows time. It looks at people. It does little, it does cat things. Draws up, wakes up from its nap. Yeah. And people are just, it's literally like I've gotten so many different POVs of this cat on my TikTok from all the Japanese TikTokers that I follow. I'm like, this cat is everywhere.
Yeah.
Just insane. A fun digital cat.
Insane. It is. It goes. Yeah, you're right. It goes to sleep at 1 a.m. Like the board goes to sleep at 1 a.m. And then the cat wakes up 6 hours later. So fascinating what people are into and the projection of and it's not pushing a product. It's not pushing any kind of, campaign or anything like that for a commercial.
It's
just a cat. So, and it comes
But
on
I
randomly.
like that. Don't you like that though?
I
That
do.
you're looking at this and you're not like, a product. Like, get this cat as a background to your next smartwatch, OLED screen smartwatch. And no, it's just if you're having a bad day, here's a cat.
Yeah.
Just taking a nap. And mouse, it does a little pausey thing. Adorable.
Adorbs. All right, let's please tell me about this story, Wendy. We've got some new Oreo flavors. I'm going to Target after this show if this is
true. My God, you got to get it. Okay. So you guys know, Oreo. I'm such a big Oreo fiend. I have 2 unopened sleeves of Oreos sitting because we just bought them, and I'm like, I gotta get to them. One of them has glitter on it. It's pink and it's got glitter on it. I don't know. Dustin bought it for me, but these 2 are new limited edition ones. One is the apple cider donut flavored, and the other is the salted caramel brownie flavor. And that one is actually topped the cookie, the Oreo cookie. It has salt topped. On top of the cookie, which is something they've never done before. Wow. So, and then the apple cider donut has the golden Oreo cookies instead of the chocolate one.
Right.
The let's see. So it looks like these are limited edition summer flavors. You may not be able to get both of them right now. I think the salted caramel brownie one is available in July, so you potentially could go to Target and find it ASAP.
Oh my God.
And then the donut one is available in August. I think we should both try to get them and then eat them on the show.
Done and done. Done and done. Yeah. I will absolutely go either sometime tonight or sometime over the weekend and see if they've got them anywhere. And I even look online and see if they've got them in stock at whatever Targets around me, because I definitely want to try that salted caramel one. Looks tasty as hell. And the apple cider donut, I'm curious because I like apple flavor on things. So
yeah, the apple cider part is throwing me off just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think one of my favorite limited edition flavor for Oreos is the tiramisu.
Oh yeah.
That one's excellent. I got that one, and then from H Mart, which is a Korean grocery store, the strawberry cream one, which is it sounds gross, but it's actually really, really good. I was surprised. I was like, what? This is good.
I tried the carrot cake one. Nah. I had 4 of them and threw it away. It just it was not good. The carrot cake Oreo was not good.
What was not good about it?
It's carrot cake, when it's done well, walks the line of being not good. It walks the line. The great ones are just this hair over not being good, and that's what makes it great. And it's like a blowfish. You might die, but you're gonna enjoy the experience. So it's just I think carrot cake Oreos are the same way, and they you can't process that. It's not going to taste good. So it's a sharp flavor or a stinging flavor, and it just doesn't work for me overall.
I just have to put it on the topics because I love Oreos so much, and even if the flavors sound awful, I will get it just so I can try it.
Oh my God. I love that you put it on here. This is so great that we get to talk about that, because I love expanding what we talk about here on the show. And certainly flavors like that, Wendy, I think we're both down with that. And speaking of stuff from the past that's now different and new again, we got this news story. The 90s are coming back here. Yesterday, members of NSync, Backstreet Boys, and Boyz II Men announced that they're joining forces for a brand new show at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. Wendy, the show is titled The After Party, but this is the only people that will feature NSYNC's Joey Fatone, the Backstreet Boys, AJ McLean and Nick Carter, and the Boyz II Men's Wanya Morris, and they will perform some of the greatest hits from August 9th through August 22. So it's only 3 nights, it seems like, and it will feature comedy, storytelling, and a few special guests, and the set list will change nightly. So, Wendy, does this excite you? We're not getting the premier members of either one of these groups. So
naturally.
Yeah, right, exactly, because they're actually successful. So what do you think about this situation? Do you like that this is coming together or no?
I mean, I say yes. If you gotta, these guys, I think, are probably itching to perform again, to make music. That's why they got into the industry for a reason. And this is especially, I think the hook here is definitely the nostalgia, right?
Yes.
Like growing up, I definitely listened to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Boyz II Men. I am a little sad it's not like the full, not that I'm thinking it's going to be like an NSYNC or BSB reunion tour. So I think I'm actually okay with like the boy bands having select members, I'm actually okay with that, because I would love to hear them doing kind of like a mashup of their songs. I think that would be really cool. But I'm bummed that it's only just one member from Boys to Men.
Yeah, I know, right?
Why?
Only one. What's that?
And also another weird thing. So again, you guys know I scroll through TikTok like a mofo before I go to sleep, because it's the worst. You shouldn't do that, because all you do is stay awake 2 o'clock in the morning. You're still scrolling. But there's been some like behind the scene like TikToks from Joey Fatone from NSYNC and AJ McLean and Nick Carter and Lance Bass practicing together in one of their homes. So I'm surprised to see that this article that we're reading from is showing that Lance Bass isn't a part of it, because he definitely is very much a part of those TikTok videos.
Yeah, well, maybe Lance can't be there for all 3 nights, so they can't promote that he's. So they said special guest, so maybe Lance will show up on a couple of those nights or one of those nights. And certainly they showed up in a Geico commercial, a new Geico commercial that's out there. If you haven't seen that, yeah, it's the Flo and one of the people that's a member of the insurance company, and they've set up this woman's house, and she's like, isn't something weird supposed to happen? And they're both like, yeah, well, it's been a bit of a rough year, so we don't really want to freak you out or do anything. And she's like, oh, okay, all right. And then there's this like a little bit of a pause, and all of a sudden the door opens, and it's Lance Bass and Fatone and one of the other members of NSync, and the guy turns around and goes, read the room, NSync, read the room, get out of here, get out of here. So it's just like a funny little moment, but they don't perform, they just kind of stand there. So maybe that's a little piece of that they were prepping anyway, so they're going to be part of this thing. So we'll see. That's cool. I like boy band music. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm more into K-pop these days, but you know.
Fair enough. Well, look, Sinatra performed
my teenage years.
Yeah, look, Sinatra performed his hits into his 90s, ladies and gentlemen. And so I think the Backstreet Boys get to and the NSYNC and Boys to Men get to perform their hits as long as they like. I think there's an audience for it. All right, our last story here before we wrap up here is from Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Infinity is an online live service from Ubisoft, and I'm getting to know Ubisoft as I play Assassin's Creed Valhalla on my Twitch.
Yes.
But Assassin's Creed Infinity is an online live service title that will mark a new era for the franchise. This is from Dark Horizons right now. Inspired by Grand Theft Auto Online and Fortnite, the new title will be a massive online platform that evolves over time. Unlike the previous single-player games, which had each unfolding in a specific historical setting, the new title will contain multiple settings with room to expand to others in months and years to follow. The games might look and feel different, but they will all be connected. It's only in the early development right now, and it's at least 3 years away from release, but I know people like to prep themselves ahead of time. And Ubisoft has released a new game every year or two, with the title selling over 155 million units combined. So they know what they're doing. Does this excite you, this idea of multiple Assassin's Creed characters or Assassin's Creed storylines to play with? And is it incredible that they've reached this level that they can do that with their universe now?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. We hadn't seen anything like this from Assassin's Creed before. So it makes sense to me that they would dive into something like this, especially like, you know, online gaming and, you know, like these massive online platforms. They're continuing to change and get better. Yeah. Like I would definitely cash in on this as well, especially with a franchise like Assassin's Creed. Like this 100% makes sense to me. So you look at games like Fortnite, they have all these, you know, characters from popular video games or movies, and they get to put them in. And like Assassin's Creed has a whole catalog of characters that people can go on and play with. So I'm interested in seeing the type of gameplay and which I guess style they're going to use in this one. Like is it you know, all out like PvP, or I would assume so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, Ubisoft is bouncing. We're not bouncing. How can I say this? They're navigating through these sexual harassment claims that were made at their expense over the last year or so. So you know, they've got a little bit of a reputation to redeem as they go through this process. So you hope, as this comes out, that they've handled this stuff appropriately. You know, addressed it, penalized the people that need to penalize, or punish them. And created a better culture and a better working environment and are a better approach to having women in the workplace there for them, because that connected with their success is a positive thing going forward. So hopefully that happens overall. We shall see. There've been female assassins, right, in Assassin's Creed. Is that correct, or has it always been like one male dude? Okay.
It's I'd like to see more.
There you go.
More ladies. We're stealthy. We got this.
Yeah.
How does this, like, for you, who's just diving into Valhalla, does this excite you, even though you haven't played like all the Assassin's Creeds?
I got to be careful. Okay. I got to be careful, Wendy. I mean, I love my girlfriend. I already spent so much time doing the shows, and now I'm doing more trailer reactions and reviews. So it's a lot of time commitment. But if you don't think I want to sit down for 4 hours on a Tuesday night and play Assassin's Creed Valhalla and just get to as far as I can go, you're crazy. These games are so addictive, and they're so theatrically well done, and the storylines are. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, you had to rip. It was 1:30 in the morning, and I had to rip the controller out of my hands. Yeah. I mean, Jedi Fallen Order was incredible, and I can't wait to sit back and start scheduling my consistent streams every week and do 2 to 3 hours, or at least 2 hours on a game on my Twitch, because I want to keep playing this and have fun with it. So yes, I'm excited for this, because the fact that I can open the door in 3 years, maybe I'll have tackled all the Assassin's Creed games. I've gone back to play them. So now I'll be ready for an online platform. And it's not a bad thing. Just like everything else we're discovering, virtual actually works, and virtual is fun. And virtual, it has its cons, but so does the live stuff. So does being in the studio have cons sometimes. You get sick off mics, people don't clean. So it's like those are those exchanges you make in life, Wendy. So you know this. So, I mean, this being at home sometimes or virtual is a good thing. So I'm down with it. And I just got a PlayStation Plus. Is that what it is? Whatever the pass is that you can play online with people. So I bought it for a year. It was discounted for July 4th to $30. So I bought it. And so now I'll be playing online against people once I get my head a little straight about when I can do that. But I'm looking forward to all that stuff. So I'm excited for this. This makes so much sense.
PvP online play scares me.
Really? Okay.
Scares me, because I'm competitive in other aspects of my life. I am not competitive when it comes to gaming. I am notoriously bad at like platform games that when you need to jump. Terrible at it. Like Smash Brothers, any maps that requires jumping, forget it. Or I rage quit. I just put the remote down and just walk away. Just walk away from it. And just me playing, online with other people, I am not as good. I'm also not super competitive, because I know I'm not that good. So I just play to have fun. And that's why it scares me, where I'm like, I got to try to perform and do well. And then I don't. I just fail.
No, I mean, like Shannon Barney posted the other day, Kalinowski playing until 5 a.m. playing Call of Duty.
Game?
So Call of Duty.
Oh my gosh.
And she put a video out, a minute, of him yelling at people as he was playing. He's off camera yelling at people as he's playing, and she's saying he's yelling at 15-year-olds. At 15.
Oh, Mike.
So, you got to love that kind of energy. I respect it.
Love it. Gotta love it.
Let's see. We got a couple chats. One chat, one Streamlab here. Norval Ross just sent in some money for the super chat. Thank you very much, Norval. We don't see a message, so we'll just say thank you very much for the donation. And then Chelsea Ann said, another great show in the books. Just want to wish everyone a great weekend and can't wait to do it again next week. Cheers.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea.
You guys.
And Wendy, coming soon. Do you want to say anything? Oh, you already did that with Movies That Made Us. And I'll say this, guys, Gunpowder Milkshake is coming out somewhere in the middle of the week next week. And then Dr. Death Season 1. Have you seen these trailers with Alec Baldwin, Christian Slater, and what's his name? Pacey from Dawson's Creek, Joshua Jackson.
Oh, Joshua Jackson.
Yeah, looks like a cool series. I think it's on Peacock. And Joshua Jackson is playing this doctor who is maybe unstable and killing patients. And Baldwin and Christian Slater are working in the hospital trying to catch him with evidence. So they're trying to figure out how to get. So it looks really cool and interesting. So highly recommend that. So I'm definitely going to be doing a review of that for sure. Oh, and here's Annabelle Roman with a super chat. Happy weekend all, and another winner edition down in the books. Thank you. Side note, John, can I exchange my frames for all yours, reimbursed, autographed, whatever works for you? What does that mean? Exchange my frames.
For all of yours.
What I don't know.
Is it the frames behind you? Oh, or is it your glasses?
Is it my glasses? Go to Costco, son. They're $50 at Costco. I'm not an expensive man right now with my glasses.
It's either frames, like picture frames.
Oh yeah,
poster
maybe the frames behind
or glasses frames.
Well, the frames behind me are IKEA. Those are $25, ladies and gentlemen. $25 at IKEA.
That's it?
Yeah. It's perfect poster size. You pull out the thing, lay it in, put the clamps on, you're good to go. You could, and I don't put the plastic on them so they don't reflect the light. I discovered that through one of my fans or patrons.
So it's just the poster.
It's just the poster, and it stays in there with the wood around.
Smart.
Yeah, yeah. So
because it's like they're behind things, so it's not like they're gonna get damaged.
Right, exactly. The way I have it. So, yeah, just let you know. All right. Well, if you haven't hit a like on this episode, please do so and leave a comment down below as well, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that red subscribe button and the bell so you know when we're dropping all the content. I've got a interview with the Black Widow cinematographer, Mexican cinematographer Gabriel Beristain. We sat and talked for about 10 minutes about his work on the film. So if you like the movie, watch that interview with him. He reveals a lot of what the process was like and working with Kate Shortland. Also, my trailer reaction to What If, and tomorrow I'll put up my Black Widow review in the morning and then my Encanto trailer reaction some point in the afternoon. Wendy, please, what do you got going on? Thanks for another fun show. Plug and tell people about everything you're doing.
I've got, let's see, the movie couple here on YouTube. I am going to be uploading my Encanto trailer reaction actually right after this. I just realized that I thought I had put it up and people are like, where is it? I'm like, oh, I didn't hit publish. So I will do a final watch through because I am paranoid that the edit is never right. So I'll do a final watch through and that should be up shortly. And you can find me on social media. So Instagram, Twitter at Wendy Lee Zaney. Come chat with me about things. I am on Twitch as well, just like John, playing cozy games such as Paper Mario Origami King. We're getting close to the end. I'll be streaming definitely on Sunday. So make sure you follow me there. And also, I think, did we agree that we're going to talk about this? Like a quick announcement?
Oh, yes. Let's make a quick announcement.
You should say it.
Please.
You should. I've already said like last week, didn't I? So it's your turn. Should I drum roll you? I'm a drum roll you.
Sure.
Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. So I got the email today, and I will announce this on my social media on Monday because I don't want it to get lost in the mix of the weekend or whatever. But I have been officially approved as a Rotten Tomatoes Tomato Meter critic. So that is a great next step for me and a great next step for the channel, the Outlaw Nation channel. So I will be doing more and more reviews that will be showing up on Rotten Tomatoes. It's something that I worked really hard to get and had been rejected for the last couple of years. So I finally received some level of reviewdom, and I was able to be approved. So I'm very excited to be part of the Rotten Tomatoes family, just like Wendy. And Wendy got approved, I think, a week or two ago. So I'm so excited to be in the same group with Wendy. And it's official. You can look me up on Rotten Tomatoes right now on the Tomato Meter Critic. Just look up John Rocha. My thing is there. So I'll have to change all my social media and all my stuff to include that as well. So I just hope
Tomato Meter approved.
Yes, Tomato Meter approved. Yeah. We are both. Yes. So it's so great. So but yeah, very excited to be doing more of this. And I'm in conversations with one of my patrons who builds websites for a living to build the outlawnation.com website so we can start putting the reviews up there and having guest writers come on to write stuff, columns and what have you for the design of that, or for the outlet as well. So everything growing as we move forward. So, but thank you all so much, and thank you, Wendy, for making me talk about it. I appreciate it. And
you're shy about it. I'm like, no, share it with the world. Share it.
Annabelle Roman says, "Congrats, and it's your glasses." LOL. Okay, well, like I said,
those frames are cool. They're Costco.
Yeah, these are Costco. I got these at Costco.
Yeah, people sleep on Costco. Don't sleep on Costco.
Don't sleep on Costco. So, and these aren't these are prescriptions. So I can't send you my glasses. These are my literal lenses. And these were, I mean, I bought 2 of them, so they were $400. It wasn't cheap, ladies and gentlemen. So,
yeah.
All right, there we go. We're out of here. Take care of yourselves, everybody. A big heart to Wendy again for going on this journey on this show with me. It's always fun. The Fridays are best hanging out with you, Wendy. So thank you so much.
Fun. I love it.
And yeah, ditto. And thanks to all of you for that. And please remember to like and comment, as we said. And then we're out of here. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a great weekend. And I am competing in the Schmodown in a couple hours. So go watch that match, the tag match.
Oh my gosh.
Me and JT taking on Lon Harris and Paul Oyama. It is the main event. So go and watch that thing now.
Good luck. You got this.
Take care of yourselves. Be well, everybody. We'll see you next Friday.